Thank you, Swamiji. It's sad to know which one of the 4 categories we belong in, but thank you very much.
Even if we belong to any of these categories, we have risen far above the ordinary ken. So that is also encouraging, no? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Shashiji, you are already unmuted.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Yeah, thank you.
Could one person be all 3 at times?
Yeah, of course. Why not? At times, but one thing will be predominant in his life. Like
Right.
if he is too much attached to worldly things, then it will be difficult for him to be a true jigyasu, you see. So it is not watertight compartment, but we have to find out what is the primary motive guiding us. Yeah.
Right. Because I feel like mind travels in so many different stages. So
Yeah.
one time you could be like a Artharthi, one time could be a Jigyasu.
Yeah, so our present aim should be to be jigyasu at all times. But in the life of everybody happens. That I was getting a severe neck pain due to the 2 weeks. So I was praying to Mother to get rid of this neck.
We all do. We are human beings. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
I see there's a ray of hope for all of us.
Yeah,
right?
of course. Not only there is hope, there is a very we are all bound for that. All the rivers are bound for the ocean. Now, whether we will attain the ocean today or after 1,000 years, that depends upon us, our efforts. Yeah,
Thank you, Swamiji.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much for lecture.
Thank you.
I have a question about Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah,
And Bhakti Yoga is a devotion and surrender and service, faith, love, dedicate all action to God.
yeah.
Among those, devotion and service are very important part. And I was sitting Bhakti Yoga for about 30 minutes. But how can I sit and doing devotion? Because action are
Devotion is not doing anything. Devotion comes from the heart. When you suppose you love your son, you don't sing and dance or anything just to show that love. But in your heart, you will care for your son, you love your son, you serve your son. In the same way, devotion does not mean you will do something special. It is in the heart. If you love God, automatically. Now, suppose you love your son, then nobody has to tell you that think of your son. That love itself prompts you to think of your son. Automatically, you will think of your son. Similarly, love of God, when it arises, then other things will automatically come. It is not that you have to do any activity, special activity for that.
So Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is sitting 30 minutes or so.
No, it is not like that. It is not. You can see, if you love your son, do you think that only sitting, when you are sitting, you love your son, when you stand up, you will stop loving your son? Is it that? You will love your son at all times. So, special you can give 30 minutes just to think of God, 1 hour, but this does not mean that after that, when you get up, you will stop loving God. You have to love God all the time.
Yes.
But you have to, in the beginning, because our love for God is not strong, we have to give some time separately to think of Him so that our love for God may grow.
So Bhakti Yoga is not only sitting, but also daily life.
All yogas are not only sitting, they are to be followed in every action of our life. But why do we sit specially? Because at that time, we should think of nothing else at all. Try to think of nothing else at all. That is the main thing.
Karma Yoga is the same thing. All the
Karma
time.
yoga is activity. That is activity. Then that you can only practice when you do something. But everything is activity. Even when you are sitting down, you are breathing. That is also an activity.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Narinder ji.
Question.
Sure.
So you gave a lot of examples on how the different categories of people, no matter what their intent, should think of God. And the one specific example you gave was with the alcoholism. And my question is, if you haven't seen anything, if you haven't experienced anything, what is, like, in what manner or in which way should you think about God or that thing?
In any way you like, in any way you like, in any way you like. That is the answer given in the scriptures. That is why it is said that God even came in the form of a pig, that is Vara Avatara. God even came in the form of a tortoise, that is a Kurma Avatara. So telling all this means that whatever form is not important. God is beyond name and form. So whatever form you want to think of him, that is no problem at all. But you should always be conscious that it is God whom you are adoring. In order to be conscious, you have to continuously remember the true nature of God. That is why in the scriptures you will find in the Bhagavata Purana and all of the scriptures, there are so many stuti, that is worship of God. So when we do those stuti, like the song which we had sung today, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. All these are names of God. So when you adore God in that way, you will always be conscious that you are adoring God. The form does not matter. The form can be Krishna, can be Rama, can be Jesus Christ, that does not matter. But you should know that you are not, when you are worshipping Jesus Christ, you should know that you are not worshipping the son of a carpenter. You are worshipping God. So first we have to take the help of form. Then slowly, if we are inclined, then slowly we can go beyond form. But even if we don't go beyond form, there is no problem at all. The thing is to be devoted to God. That's what. So any way we adore God with sincerity, that will take us to the final stage, the final knowledge.
So can we just think of it as an idea rather than a form? Like, okay, this is for the God.
No, we are not fit for that. We are not fit for that, because it is a long discussion which Swami Vivekananda has elaborately told this, that we cannot get rid of form till we are within Maya. We have to see. If I tell you, just you imagine, if I tell you, you say cow, but don't think of cow's form. Can you do that?
No.
It is impossible. So
Right.
when you say God, automatically some form will come into your mind. You cannot do without that. Those who follow Islam, they say that we believe in a formless God. But in the house of any Muslim, if you go, you will find the photograph of a Kaaba, or that Jerusalem, something like that. Because that symbol is very much necessary. You cannot go beyond symbol. You cannot go. It is impossible. So those who, tell about all these formless, etc., that you should always, that's why I tell that always go to these great souls. You go to Shri Krishna Gita, you go to Ram Krishna, you go to Vivekananda, you go to Tulsidas, Mirabai. They know what they are talking about. Otherwise, if we keep on hearing so many things now, it is a big problem. There is no tax on saying anything. People say anything, they upload the video and all that. So one day is enough to be confused. If you go on searching and hearing everything, you'll be totally confused. So go to these.
The reason I asked was, what if you don't feel any particular attraction to any one particular form, right?
Well, if you want to think of God, then you have to have a chosen deity, that whom you have chosen. Whenever you think of God, there will be some form automatically. So now you have to decide which form you like. You cannot jump to the formless without going to form. It is absolutely impossible. You have to take the help of symbols.
And when we think of a form, like thinking of God in that way, how is it different from just being an abstract thought construct in our minds and compared to actually being devoted to God? Like
No, what do you mean by this abstract? If I sit doing nothing and if I let my mind run anywhere it likes, how will that kind of abstract thinking help me in my spiritual progress?
No, so okay, let me rephrase my question. What I meant was, let's say we are thinking of like an apple or any inanimate object, right? And
Yeah.
we think, okay, we are doing everything for that object, right? We may start developing the same devotion for that.
I've
And like
already
to think that
I've already answered that question. In our last class, I already answered this question that people will think that everything is God. So why can't I think of an apple and be devoted to him? When you think of an apple, first thing which come to your mind will go and eat that apple. Because the superimposition which is the apple, superimposition of Brahman, in our current stage we only see the superimposition. So if you try to think of apple, you will be thinking only of the covering of that name and form. You won't be thinking of God. In order to think of God, you have to have a symbol which manifests that divinity to the greatest degree. And that is the incarnation of God, who have gone over Maya and they have become divine. So it will be much more easier to attain God by meditating on these things. This also Swami Vivekananda is analyzed beautifully in great detail.
So can we think of the symbol Om as the form, or does it have to be a person?
It is, you can. Om is the greatest symbol, that is actually one with God. But the thing is, it borders on the formless. So problem is, my emotions of love cannot be directed towards Om. How can I love Om? I can love God as a personal God. I can love Jesus Christ, Ramakrishna, Krishna much more easily than I can love Om. So if you think of Om only, one faculty will remain unutilized. Our aim is to direct all the faculty towards God.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does it have to be like a deity, like Krishna or whatever, or could it be like Swami Vivekananda or Thakur? Like, could it be those people, or does it have to be?
It depends upon you. It has to be a person in whom this divinity has manifested to the maximum extent, who has gone over this Maya. As soon as you see the photo of Jesus Christ, you see the photo of Krishna, immediately our hands go up like that. We don't have to think about it. That reverence comes from inside because we see here is divinity. That is so manifest. So wherever this divinity is manifest, you have to choose which form you like. Mother Kali, Mother Durga, so many, Parvati, you can choose any form. All these are for our benefit only. God has assumed so many forms for the different natures of human beings.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Dipuji.
Thank you very much. I grew up in Bengal, and to hear singing in Bengali again is a boon.
Okay.
And I had a thought when I was listening to Harsh's question.
Yeah.
So, is it possible to connect through God, through Mother Earth, or through a river or a lake?
See, again the same thing the same problem comes. No, in inanimate objects, you can never think of divinity manifested to the same degree as in these great souls, in these great souls who have taken a human form, so to say. Because Swami Vivekananda says, till we are human beings, till we think we are human beings. We can only think of God as a human being.
Yeah.
A buffalo
I
will
think,
think of God as a buffalo, Swamiji says.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think because if you look at the earth, it gives a lot, but it doesn't have to deal with the emotions, calm, krodh, lobh, moh, ahankar, that we carry. But these human beings have dealt with that and come out remarkably. So they are our guides.
Yeah. Otherwise, we always worship everything. You see, that is the Hindu tradition. There is a beautiful song in this. The Hindu ye, इतनी ममता के नदियों को माता कह करके बुलाते हैं, इतना आदर इंसान तो क्या पत्थर भी पूजे जाते हैं, इस धरती पे मैंने जन्म लिया, इस धरती पे मैंने जन्म लिया, ये सोच के मैं इतराता हूँ, भारत का रहने वाला हूँ, भारत की बात सुनाता हूँ. So these two sentences, इतनी ममता के नदियों को मदद, Ganga is called Mother Ganga. We worship Ganga. So we are trained to see divinity there also. Itna adar insan to kya, we also worship stones as gods. So the idea is to see divinity there also. But when you select your chosen deity, it will help the most if we select God in human form, because as humans, we can most easily think of God as human only.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Follow-up question.
Yes, of course.
So, when selecting the form, let's say yourself or other people, right, who have a living master, do they think of their living master as God, or do they still also have another deity that they think of God?
See, Guru and Ishta are the same, but that is only in the final stage. Sri Ramakrishna says that when one attains knowledge, then the Guru merges in the Ishta. Then finally one will see, the thing is this, we study many things in the scriptures, we read about many things. Problem is, there is a stage when we will actually realize those things. Before that, if we try to implement that in our lives, we will end up only in failures. We may have the thing at hand. Now, as a child, we may see some books of my elder brother who is doing PhD. I can take that book out of the shelf and read the words. But till I am ready to grasp that, it has no meaning for us. So many things are there told, but we should know where we stand. So all these things are true. Guru and Ishta being same is true. Everything being God is true. But we are far, far, far away from that. So we should start from where we are. We cannot go to the terrace at one bound. Again and again, Sri Ramakrishna has explained this. Again and again, Swami Vivekananda has explained this. This is true. Yes, everything is true. But you cannot get it till it is realized it is non-existent for us.
So to start with, you always start with a form deity, even though you have a master. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
That correct?
Absolutely. That master may guide you also in choosing your form also. So, and if you like but some form particularly, you can approach your guru and ask him also. That is what gurus are there for. So the guru leads you to God. Once you attain God, the guru and the Ishta merge together. But before that,
and since you're
yeah.
And since you're always starting from a form of the deity, so it doesn't really matter if you have a guru or not, right? Because that's the starting anyway.
No, it does matter. It does matter. A guru is paramount because two basic things are utmost, which are very necessary, is first meditating on the form of God, and second is taking the name of God. So that is called the mantra. Now, if you do yourself, you may like one name today, you may like another name tomorrow, you may like one form today, you may like another form. If you keep on jumping from names and forms, you will never reach anywhere. So the Guru guides you, gives you the holy name, and decides the form also according to your choice. Then you have to keep on doing, and there's a long process. If you face some obstacle, where will you go? For everything you need a teacher. For college, you cannot just take out a book and study and get a degree. You need a teacher. Every step you may encounter some obstacle, some. So who will clear your doubts then?
So what would you say are the initial steps for someone to go find the correct teacher for them?
Yeah, of course. That is very much necessary, because and for that also some rules are there. You cannot go to someone, you may be disappointed. The Guru and Shishya should see you see each other for a long time. And you should really feel that reverence and respect, and after a long time you can say to yourself, yes, this is the person, because once you accept somebody, there is no going back. So Sri Ramakrishna says one should choose. It is all in the gospel. I am not saying anything of my own. Sri Ramakrishna says one should choose one's guru very carefully, but once you choose, there is no going back. Then you should be completely devoted to him and his instructions. Because if you don't have faith in him, if you lose faith in your guru, then you are finished. Then you will lose faith in everything.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity to being with you all, and the signs are promising. Vaccination and all are going on. So within 2 months, if by God's grace we can all get vaccinated, already many seniors have been vaccinated, then we are thinking of opening the center also, maybe in late June or July, God willing. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We can look forward to physically see each other again. Yeah, nothing like that. So let's pray to God that that day may come soon. And thank you so much again for giving me the opportunity of discussing these wonderful truths with you. So hope to see you next week.